necessarily relevant.
Yeah, it's already a 3-0.
Yeah. So.
Or 2-0.
Yeah. Exactly. Anyway, not the case right now, however. One apiece heading into Volskaya. Our assault map. Mindfreak on attack, Athletico on defense. And interestingly enough, we're going to have mirror match team comps again here, Jordan. No Winston on defense for Athletico.
Indeed.
So no free charge before. Well, I guess he can just keep throwing fire strikes, which is precisely what they're doing. And he's actually going to be quite a distance ahead of Davey here in terms of Earth Shattered charge. Davey charges right in though, looked very aggressive. I don't know if they necessarily expected that to be coming out of Mindfreak right now. They thought maybe they'd just sit back on the point, but they go hard as soon as they drop down. We're looking for the first pick. 4 is taking a lot of damage, as is Christoph, but it's Atar who's gone down first. 4's got the Earth Shatter. Does he throw it out? No, it's Davey who throws out his. And the point is slowly but surely being captured here by Mindfreak. That was a great start.
I don't know about slowly, but I think that was pretty quickly indeed. Mindfreak will be happy with that. What a great take. And look at what they have to work with going into point B. This may be a very, very fast cap. With that said, the May swap has occurred here for Athletico. So I wonder if Mindfreak are going to be aware and prepared of that. They certainly are aware now. They've heard all those icicles going flying, but what are you going to be able to do about it? Nothing. The wall goes up and Swilko drops.
Look at the charge coming through from Davey. Oh man, Athletico gonna need to hold strong here, and they will. By the looks of things, Addy going down to Evie. But 6 minutes is a lot of time for Mindfreak to work with. A lot of time.
It is. But the May is a spanner in the works for Mindfreak. What do we do against the May? That's the question, because I find May so oppressive, in particular here on this point. Maybe it's because it's so cold on Volskaya, she just gets a buff.
Yeah.
But like, you can wall off that choke point straight away when they're entering the point. You can wall off parts of the point as well. And you can use your Blizzard right on the point, which makes it so difficult to get anything done. And it's a total space creator for Athletico if the fight's going poorly.
So they really need to win this fight, right? That's what I'm looking at right now. It's this fight or it's going to take Mindfreak a while.
Yep.
They have everything in their favor. They need to make the most of what they've got, though. Goobs pops that Transcendence to keep them going. The self-destruct come through. Davey quite low. Aki keeping him alive. Sound barrier by Athletico. But Davey goes down first. 4 finds the pick. And Mindfreak will not win that fight. And now things are going to be tough.
Yeah, and also it's allowed time for the Blizzard to be built up by Zol, and that's where the fights really start to get a little bit more problematic for Mindfreak, because you can kind of cycle through the ultimates now for Athletico, which is kind of what they've done. A few in the last fight, but Earthshatter and Blizzard in this one to lock up Mindfreak. You've only got the sound barrier to keep you alive through either or both, which in my mind is not enough given how difficult it is to survive against ultimates like that. See if Christoph can eat the Blizzard. That may be a win condition for Mindfreak at this point.
It's getting close. That is for sure, Jordan. Oh, straight into the things that you can see. That wall coming through.
Blizzard
and Christoph has managed to eat the Blizzard. A very cold dessert.
Grab is available for Atar, which
Christoph
also gets eaten.
Both! How is this even possible?
Well, I told you it was a win condition, and now that he's eaten both of them, they may actually end up getting that win. The Graviton Surge now down onto Atar. Will force the trans from Goobs. There is a player contesting the point. It is Zol. He's going to fall straight away to Slids or Jay. It's just stagger time now for Athletico. That is a huge passage of play for Christoph. And if Mindfreak don't win here, they will be sorely disappointed, and you would have to certainly feel for Christoph.
Yeah, look, Christoph still sitting strong on the point. The self-destruct available as well. And a potential just to drop this one right in the middle of it and make life very difficult now for anyone to contest. You just don't want to get stuck as Baby Diva and get caught out there with the mech, or without the mech even. And you'll see a couple of players just trying to make it on. Not going to happen. Wow. And look, Jordan, I don't think that's how that play was supposed to go for Athletico, to be honest. No,
certainly not. That was actually really set up quite nicely for Athletico to stage a very long defense.
Yeah.
And then Mindfreak just gets it capped so quickly. All off the big eats of Christoph, hungry, hungry boy. And, well, now we're on to Atletico's attacking side, so you would be disappointed by that.
Yeah,
suppose
exactly.
For Mindfreak, this puts them in a fantastic position now here on Volskaya.
It's like they're holding 2 big spells, Jordan, ready to go, and both times they played them, the counter spell just comes out, and you're like, how do you even have 2 counter spells? I don't even understand. What's going on here? Then all of a sudden you've lost the game, and you're very sad. That's essentially what happened. The difference is that it's all about positioning. It's not about having something sneaky to work with. It's not like they didn't know that the defense matrix was there and available.
Yeah, the beauty of it is that the counter spells that you're talking about is literally just one spell. It's the defense matrix.
Yeah.
And you have it on a cooldown as well. So, you know, it's not like you have to wait for a situation where you have it or you don't have it. Like, you pretty much always have it. It's just a case of getting the timing right. Christoph certainly did. That's why sometimes it's better to wait for the DMAC to come across. Now it's time to see what Mindfreak have for us on the defense. A very solid attack, but off the back of individual plays. If not for those individual plays, I think we would still be watching Mindfreak struggle to cap point B. Sometimes that's how it is.
Well, 3:31 in the time bank for Mindfreak. Let's see how they go. As you said, now they are defending. What can Athletico do? A very important map for both of these teams. Oh, look, Swilko coming in for the boot, just trying to outposition this lineup, and he will do that quite successfully. Goobs, Eevee both down, and a lot of charge now going across very quickly. It's Mindfreak lineup. At least the fight ended early, Jordan. Wasn't too costly.
Yeah, but that's a nice start for Mindfreak. Swilko can reset himself again on the walls if he wants to.
Look at him, just so cool. Do you wish you were this cool? I know you like to rollerblade.
I actually am pretty cool.
Anyway, Atletico gonna try and go through the left-hand side.
It's more opportunities for Swilko to get boops.
Yeah, it's like, well, let's reset this one and boop again, and that's precisely what happens. The difference, Jordan, is that Mindfreak have this Winston on defense.
Exactly, and a Winston that's already built up the Primal Rage. That is not always typical by the time that the defenders allow the attackers to get to the point, but this time Davey has a real opportunity to just carry this fight. He's going to go for it.
On the low ground, the rest of the team on the high ground, and Davey, as you said, yes, popping that Primal Rage, getting up in everyone's face. And again, another fight win going to Mindfreak, and that was really on the back of that first fight so quickly going to the defenders. That by the time it came through for the second push, Davey had already found that Primal Rage.
That is how it's supposed to work when you have Winston on the defense. This is starting to be a little bit of a problem for Athletico, though. They are building ultimates and getting close to that 6 ultimate mark, which should be enough to push them through. With that said, the only thing that Mindfreak really are lacking is Davey with the Primal Rage, and look at him just go. He's charging it so quickly.
Charge over. He's just like, all right, first I go there.
Yep,
then I go there. He's like he's at a buffet, and he's like, all right, and I've got the all-you-can-eat pizza, and I'm going to get my desserts, and then I'm going to... You know what I mean? He's just adding everything.
If Davey survives through this fight, he's going to have another Primal Rage, which is just another spanner in the works for
And the grab can slow this down very quickly as well, if played smartly. Davey up to 70%. At least Atletico has everything to work with. And they're going to have to probably use all of it to win this fight. And Eevee goes down as the beat.
As she was using beat.
So that's been counted. This is falling apart right now for Atletico.
It is most certainly. Mindfreak posing a very stoic defense right now. It's going to cost them every single ultimate. That said, it also cost Atletico every single ultimate there, with the exception of Four's Earthshatter, which realistically I don't think is going to be too big of a deal for Mindfreak. They have done what they needed to do. They've negotiated the most difficult fight. And everything from here is kind of smooth sailing. Particularly given that they build a lot of ult in that last fight as well toward the end there. Aki and Christoph, Addy, and we know Davey can get Primal Rage again in one fight. He's already had both these major fights have actually had him with the Primal Rage
Atletico
in there.
need to come in now. They need to start this fight and get the Transcendence from Goobs in. That's the only thing I feel that gets them across the line here. They don't want to wait too long. Man. They can't wait for Aki. They can't afford to let Davey get that Primal Rage, and they are taking the long way round.
Certainly are.
What are they waiting for? There's nothing else they really have to work with.
Waiting for positioning, perhaps. get all those players healed up as much as you can, but it's given Davey the opportunity back up to 80%.
Yeah.
Christoph needs to ensure he doesn't get demeched before grab is available. Addy has got that grab, but the self-destruct, we're just waiting for that 10% to go.
Here's the Earth Shatter coming out from 4. Goobs pops the Transcendence. Athletico with nothing else to work with. Davy's got the Primal Rage, pops that straight away. Christoph has a self-destruct as well, throws that one into the mix. 4 goes down. And it's just a matter of too little, too late here, I feel, for Athletico, Jordan.
You're 100% correct. It's a clean wipe for Mindfreak. They haven't lost a single player just yet. Finally, Swilko will go down. And Zol trying to do his best. He gets the D-Mech onto Christoph as well, but he is the lone survivor. 4 might just get here on the Wrecking Ball. What difference is it really going to make, though, as he's deleted straight away?
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, I understand they were like, well, we've got one fight left. We need to make it a good fight. We need to... The reality is they don't know what we know about Ultimate Charge, right? Yeah. They don't know that their opponents are so close to it coming up.
They don't know, but you would certainly have an indication as to where the Ultimates are sitting.
I guess they went for, we'll take position over timing here. And I guess position is the only thing you can necessarily control because you can guess timing, but as you know, it's not an exact science, I suppose. So... Anyway, it doesn't work out for Athletico. Mindfreak, on the other hand, had a good run in, as you said, on the back of a couple of good plays. Davey here with the huge Earth Shatter on the first point really seals the deal. Then it was it Christoph eating up both the Blizzard and the grab, and it really felt like after they'd lost this fight, after Mindfreak had lost this fight, they were going to get staggered time and time again. But that was not the case. There's the Blizzard Eden. The grab's about to come out as well. I'm not even sure where that positioning is from ATAR, but nevertheless, it doesn't work out in their favor, Jordan.
No, it definitely does not. Mindfreak, yeah, after they won that fight from Christoph eating the grab and the Blizzard, it sort of felt like Mindfreak just had the momentum and there was no way Athletico was coming back into this map at all. I mean, that first defense really, really solid from Mindfreak, now up 2-1 in the series. And it's a far cry from what I was talking about there on Oasis, where I was like, hey, okay, Mindfreak, in my mind at least, were favored going into this series, but Athletico now having won on Oasis sort of sets us up for maybe a pretty close series here. Yeah. Well, all of a sudden, Mindfreak, I could say was pretty close, but Volskaya was just an utter beating. Yes, it was. It was a little bit disappointing, to be honest, from Athletico. I'm not 100% sure what was... Look, there was definitely some good plays, and I think Mindfreak did play well, right? Yep. They did what they needed to do individually. They all played their part properly, and it all sort of came together for them. Whilst, I don't know, Athletico maybe after losing Icavolt, it's a little bit, and then particularly after having... You're kind of on tilt a little bit, I think, after particularly seeing your opponent come through and capture. Yeah, you can understand Objective A, that's supposed to go their way. That's how Assault works. But Objective B is kind of ours. And look, we've got all this ultimate to work with, and it just doesn't work out for you. And all of a sudden, you don't just have to capture both objectives. You have to do it with a ton of time left on the clock, and you feel like you got to move quicker than you would otherwise, and it just... changes the mindset, perhaps. Nevertheless, we move now to Rialto. And could this be a 3-1 going to Mindfreak? Maybe. Yeah, I think it could be. Remember, Mindfreak beat Sydney Drop Bears on Rialto. It's true. Not a big sample size. It's not a big sample size. But it's still a big game to win. Look, we're in week 5, and they've got 100% win rate on Rialto. Sure, that's only one map. Look, they're lining up. You don't have to tell them it's only one map. No one knows. Except us. Lining up, coming in from the side. This is either going to work really well or really poorly for Athletico. It's looking like it might work really poorly. Mindfreak have the positioning, though. Goobs does get Aki. The respawn will be pretty quick here for Athletico, though. No, that's it. Look, 4 down, Goobs down. The respawn's, as you said, now in Mindfreak's favor. And it's going to be very tough for Athletico to regroup here. They need to get out. Well, they can't get out, that's for sure. They just need to try and stall that payload for as long as possible. It's going to be a fair bit of free push here for Mindfreak. I can see what Athletico was trying to do there, but my issue with it is, look at how much free ultimate charge that's given over to Mindfreak. Davey's already got the Shatter. Slitzel J has pretty much got Rally. Grav is almost there for Addy as well. The thing is, John, these teams are so evenly matched that I don't think you need to do that against this Mindfreak lineup. Look at that huge Earth Shatter. Catches who it needs to.
Can they follow it up with damage? Yes, they will. Zol going to get demagged and picked up. Addy already has the grab. Probably doesn't want to use it right now unless he has to. But does take a bit of damage. Defield 4 both down. Davey finds another. This payload should very quickly move through checkpoint A. We'll get a bit of a wriggle on here. Going to be a lot of time now on the clock.
Yeah, Athletico have put themselves in a really poor position with that aggressive hold. I've seen it work, and it can work, but it's more so not necessarily looking to win the fight there as the defenders, and more just to prolong the fight, which I didn't really think Athletico was able to do per se. So Payload's going to push forward so easily. Mindfreak have a real forward position up there on the high ground.
Yep.
We're already across the bridge. And Athletico haven't been able to pose their first defense, though typically it is where, right here, where you normally see the first defense, around that corner.
Mindfreak sitting on 3 ultis. Atletico on 3 of their own. 4 getting very close to an Earth Shatter, but also taking a bit of damage. Goobs or Eevee potentially going to be forced into an ulti. And there you go. Eevee's going to pop the sound barrier, even though it's only been the pressure of normal damage coming out from this lineup, Jordan, that they've had to deal with. There we go. Addy now with the grabs. This is the Transcendence pops. Wilco with the sound barrier. And after all of this goes down, Mindfreak should be ahead on HP.
They are actually not quite ahead on HP. And that's a very good self-destruct coming in from Zol. Mindfreak had 3 players very low, down below half HP. And I don't think they would have found the fight anyway. But back to square one now for Mindfreak. A good time on point A, but they've been staggered up a little bit here.
That was a good fight win from Atletico.
Yeah.
Even though it felt like they were a little bit behind, they didn't have everything they wanted, and you saw that they put that sound barrier in quite early to start the fight, but they come out on top nonetheless. But going into this fight, Mindfreak will have the advantage. Rally's going to be popped by Slids J. Everyone with a little bit of armor to work with. There's the Earth Shatter. I think, was it stopped? Yeah, the shield bash coming through. 4 also throws out the Earth Shatter, but actually caught out in the process there. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Both Reinhardt's now down. The payload, though, will continue to push.
And look at how weak the players on Atletico are at the moment. Zol actually somehow has managed to get out of that alive. I think Mindfreak gave some space to try and heal themselves, and that also gave Atletico that opportunity too. Addy's looking for a grab from the high ground at the moment, but will be forced away by Atar, who's also similarly looking for a grab from the high ground.
Atar with a ton of charge as well, so if there's nothing to stop this, you could see the damage coming out from the Zarya. Transcendence used, self-destruct used as well.
Oh, his self-destruct might be dangerous, and it is. Atar will drop.
It's another fight win, looking like it's going to go in favor of Mindfreak, and if that's the case, 4 and Zol both about to get picked up as well. You'll see the payload head towards checkpoint B, and now, again, we're going to have it like 4.5 minutes or something, Jordan, for the final phase of the map.
3.5.
3.5.
Yep.
All right, so it's not as much as I had thought, but still quite a lot of time to work with.
Yeah, and good advanced positioning here from Mindfreak as well. They're sort of camping Atletico outside the spawn. Hopefully the payload can get up this ramp. That's where things do get stuck a little bit. Look at Suko up there on the high ground waiting for a nice boop here. He's going to try and boop the Reinhardt out of position so that Davey can get the Earth Shatter. This could be fantastic. And there it is.
Throws it through. I'm not even sure who we captured, but the fight certainly seems to be going in Mindfreak's favor, Jordan. And they'll capture 3. The payload moves forward. Objective C in their sight. Still 3 minutes on the clock. They've got a grab to work with. They've got a sound barrier to work with as well.
You love to see it for Mindfreak. That's what they needed. A really clean fight to get it into one fight territory, which it now is. So if this goes the way of Mindfreak, they finish the map with a lot of time available. Davey pushing forward. Graviton Surge not yet fired out by Addy, but it's certainly an option shortly.
4, I think, only captures Aki and all of that as well for the Earth Shatter. The grabs come in, and all of Atletico are going to get sucked into the void.
Grabbed off the point. Wow, that is a scary time from Mindfreak. Such a good phase 3 into point C of the map. I mean, that is where really things always tend to stagger up on Rialto, and you get stalled for a bit. But 2 minutes and 40 on the clock, you are going to be quaking in your boots a little bit if you are Atletico looking at a time bank like that, particularly because of how Volskaya went and because of how Eichenwald went. We're on a bit of a streak now for Mindfreak. I just don't see Atletico beating that time or even getting equal to that time and then also winning here in the time bank.
Yeah, that first fight really kind of cost
a lot.
Yeah,
That's what Esports all about.
Does it buy you an extra fight if you win it?
It definitely, well, yeah, if you win it.
Like, you've obviously won that fight, but you're eventually going to lose that fight, right? Like,
yes.
so...
But it buys you an extra 30 seconds to a minute. I think the issue was for Mindfreak that they didn't make that fight last long enough, and they also didn't manage to do enough damage in that fight to charge their own ultimates equally to what Athletico had given over to Mindfreak.
That's it, right? It's actually... I actually think it's quite difficult to make work if you really think about it, right? Your players, even if you're 1-for-1ing, they're going to come in so much quicker than you are. It means that they're getting charged so much quicker than you are because they're back in the fight getting charged again. And then your own players are going to get caught out eventually, and they're all going to get cleaned up. At least they can drop back into their spawn if they want to.
It's a forward fight again here for Mindfreak.
Well, I was going to say, this would be like really rubbing it in their face, wouldn't it?
If they were able to get it done better than Athletico did. But Zol, he's aware of it. He's gone on to the Bastion. This may be a spanner in the works for Mindfreak.
That's a little bit sneaky. I love this play coming out from Zol. And question is, can they make this work? Goobs has gone down. Athletico not necessarily coming out on top. Looks to find Aki. They will. But you can't win the fight on the back of a Bastion, Jordan.
Well, when you're looking at this as well, like all the damage that's being done by Athletico is actually being done by Zol, who wants to swap off to the D.Va anyway.
Yeah.
So there goes 70% ult charge for absolutely no reason. That's how the fight's supposed to go. They've wasted 32 seconds to a minute. Mindfreak have got a few ultimates built up a little bit here. And Athletico's in a really poor position.
Well, a bit of a masterclass from Mindfreak. How to play this out, you'll see they'll get the second fight here and potentially even a third, depending on whether they choose to hold or not. But Athletico, all on the payload, trying to push this one forward. Davey takes a bit of damage. Christoph, though, has a self-destruct, and Davey has a shatter. So a good shatter could catch out Goobs. If Goobs is, I think he's all the way back. No, he's actually very close right now. So a good shatter would certainly capture out the Zenyatta. The grab going to come through anyway, and the Transcendence does come out from Goobs. Self-destruct from Christoph. Finds two of the tanks, and D-Max the third.
Yeah.
So this fight will go in favor of Mindfreak, and now they are buying a lot of free time.
They certainly are, and pretty inexpensive fight there for Mindfreak as well. They had the 2-for-1 discount. It's going to be 2 support ultimates still for Mindfreak, 1 Earth Shatter.
Yep.
So you're just looking for Davey to have an impact here, get 1 or 2 people with that Earth Shatter, and if the supports find value with their ultimates, which realistically they should, it's definitely a fight that Mindfreak have the advantage in right now. Grab Surge combo coming up though for Athletico with Zol nearby on the self-destruct.
Looking for a big shatter here from Davey.
That's it. Oh, great shatter.
It's a huge shatter as well. Sound barrier from Eevee will save the day, but it will not save Atar. It goes down to Christoph. Christoph now is going to be getting ever closer to another self-destruct. Zol at least has his. I don't know if it's going to come through here. I would think probably not. They've got like 1.5 fights to work with here to try and get things going again. But
now is where Athletico start to pull ahead a little bit on the ult economy. It always tends to be that way, right? You know, it takes probably 2 fights to restore that balance. Adia, of course, does have a Graviton Surge, but there is no self-destruct to combo with that, and also no support ultimate to defend against Atar's Grav Surge. So, Christoph here, again, all eyes on him to try and get this defense matrix up and eat the Graviton Surge. Otherwise, it is looking like it should be Athletico's fight. They've missed the grab, though.
Oh, my goodness. It goes right into the middle of nowhere. No excuses saying you're trying to catch out the Sombra that time.
Not sure that was ever an excuse.
Mate, you got to follow it up with the Overwatch League memes these days. But it's a 1-for-1 trade. Davey goes down as well. So Athletico really trying to make something of this. To be honest, they need to. They have to win here. They have to get this fight. They have to get the payload moving. Otherwise, they are going to be in a very poor position.
Christoph has elected not to use the self-destruct there, and I actually like that decision. He'll be able to get back here before point A is captured up. The self-destruct thrown over the bridge will buy enough space for Mindfreak actually to get a good recontest in here if they weren't going to be able to already, which it looks like they will. They're back very quickly, but look at how much space this self-destruct is going to create.
Oh, self-destruct with the shatter should be enough. Goobs, defield 4, all down, 8 seconds on the clock. Mindfreak holding strong. It's going to be 3 and 1. Mindfreak taking out Athletico after dropping the control point map.
Oh, Evie's still
See
there.
you later, Evie. Oh, dearie me. Mindfreak, certainly the better team on the day, Jordan. And each and every map after the first seemed to slowly shift in Mindfreak's favor. They were a little bit better, really good, very impressive.
Yeah, what a great end to that game for Mindfreak. Super solid stuff in that final point. Like all of the fights that they took on point A looked really solid. They seemed to know exactly what their win conditions were.
Yeah.
And they were thinking about the bigger picture as well. It wasn't just, hey, we want to win this fight. It was, hey, we want to finish it here on this point. So let's just make sure we use the correct ultimates when we need to. If we're losing the fight, we'll hold on to them, think about what we need to do in the next fight. We've already got that fallback plan, and that worked out perfectly for Mindfreak. So I think a really good game from them today. As I said, I expected this to be Mindfreak's match. They have been a little bit more consistent throughout this season than Athletico have been. And this also for Mindfreak now means that there is still a real possibility for them to actually get into the playoffs. If they can get into that 6th place position, if they can beat Legacy, which is certainly a winnable game now, they're actually going to be able to do that. They're going to be able to leapfrog. So I think that match, when we do get to see it, is going to be a very exciting one, actually. Even though you look at the two teams, you think, oh, well, they're probably not the best teams in the league. There's a lot of context to that match, which always makes it interesting.
And it's great that these matches that are sitting not at the top of the ladder are still exciting, Jordan, and that the plays are still good. And the thing for me, the best part about this for Mindfreak is that in the first match of today, we kind of saw the Drop Bears being defeated by a team comp, but for some reason they didn't know how to deal with properly, or they weren't making the right choices to deal with it. Whilst in this situation, it felt like the teams were very similar in composition. It really was just Mindfreak outplaying Athletico on the day. Yeah,
absolutely. And Mindfreak were expected to outplay Athletico on the day. I like how Mindfreak has been shaping up as a team. Look, I think this is the best season of Overwatch Contenders we've had thus far. Because of the format, you know, we look at this Mindfreak team, we look at this Athletico team, they probably would have been 4th or 5th in their group in the last season of Contenders, which, to be fair, Mindfreak was. But now they're obviously still toward the bottom of the standings, but I still feel like the competition is so much better. I feel like both of these teams are better than what we got to see last season.
There were a lot of games last year where they were kind of difficult to commentate almost.
It was like 20-minute stomps.
Yeah, exactly. Whilst this has been much more exciting, and funnily enough, the only stomps have really come from that Drop Bears
order game,
game, which is quite surprising, but not really when you put it in the context of their roster changes. So, a really exciting season so far in Australian Contenders, and I can't wait for playoffs because I don't know who's going to win. For the first time ever, I don't have a really strong feeling about who's going to come out on top of this season. I think anything is possible, Jordan. But now, let's have a look at our Macca's play of the game. A McDonald's Australia play of the game. Mindfreak up against Athletico. Looking for some big plays. That was a huge Earth Shatter coming out from Davey.
Yeah, it was the 5-man, 6-man Earth Shatter. We weren't sure exactly what it was. Have a look when it goes into the slow-mo. See if the Reinhardt here gets stunned by the Shatter or by a Brigitte. Yeah, it's the Brigitte stun at the back here. Watch this.
Out of position.
But they all end up getting staggered.
Booped out?
He got booped.
Yeah,
got booped by Swilko.
Right.
That set up the Shatter. And then the Brigitte stun to finish it off. It was great work. Great teamwork again from Mindfreak.
That's what we want to see. People say GOATS is boring, but that's exciting.
Yeah, and I think it's more exciting when you watch it in slow-mo because you can see all of the little intricacies.
Let's just broadcast at half speed.
Take another
We'll do 8 hours. We'll do 8 hours of broadcast today.
But I think, again, you know, just that is going to reiterate at the point that I'm going to bring up here is that I think Swilko had a great series today for Mindfreak as well. Saw a lot of impact out from him. I mean, to be fair, he got a bit more camera time, so it's a lot easier to see that impact when you get that camera time. But I think he's had at least two very critical boops that have set up shatters, and quite a few more just really harassing boops that we saw like on Volskaya and that kind of thing. So great work, I thought, from Swilko. Of course, great work across the board, really, from Mindfreak.
Are you ready? Let's do a drum roll, because we're about to bring up the scoreboard. All right, let's take a look at our scoreboard after week 5, and it's Athletico Esports up on top. The Sydney Drop Bears sitting in 3rd. Is this real life? Are we in a different dimension?
Yeah, we've just gone to the moon and we haven't returned. Well, look, blank on top was definitely what we expected. They're the only team that's undefeated right now.
I wasn't expecting to see Order in second.
That's why we talk about map win and losses being so important.
Yes.
Sydney Dropbears have been dropping maps so far this season. If Order beats Blank, Order takes first place. But if Blank gets a decent amount of maps there, maybe Sydney Dropbears still stay in that third place.
All right, we are really starting to get a good understanding of where all these teams are. We have one team undefeated, yet to play Order, to be fair. We have 3 teams on 4 wins, somehow. And then we have 3 teams on 1 win. And that puts Mindfreak, who only won their first match of the season in week 5, is now sitting in a spot where they've got Legacy to play. And really, their season might come down to that.
They might even take 5th place at this point. It kind of depends on who Legacy, Ground Zero, and Mindfreak all have to play in the last 2 weeks of the season here as to whether they're going to be able to sit in 4th place, or sorry, in 5th place and 6th place. So we've got kind of a 3-way tie for the last 2 slots. Melbourne Mavericks are kind of up there as far as the scoreboard is concerned, but I don't think that they're going to be able to
It's such a weird tale of 2 halves of the roster. We have had 20 matches across the season.
Yep.
And of those matches, 17 of the wins sit in the top half